Hello everybody, this is Clive5 and you are watching Most Embarrassing Replays. Thank you so much for joining me today on the show where you send me your embarrassing replays. I watch them, commentate them, and put them up online for everyone to see. And if you'd like to be on the show, please send your embarrassing replays to replays@poweroverwhelming.net and we'll get you on the show. Right now we're going to go ahead and get into the first match, so stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome to Most Embarrassing Replays. This is Clive5 and ZOMG. I am super excited for this match because it is a matchup between our very own ChaoxTech, the red turn, in the 11 o'clock position versus Liquid Ret, the blue Zerg, in the 5 o'clock position. Wow, Ret. ChaoxTech is playing against Ret. He has just gotten insane. Ret, if you don't know, has been a pro gamer on the StarCraft scene for quite some time. He's actually from the Netherlands, and he played in Korea for quite some time, so he's technically a foreigner since he's not Korean. He played on Team Eastro back in the Brood War days, also as a Zerg, known for his big macro Zerg style, and this is just the map for him, Antigua Shipyard. This is a macro Zerg's wet dream, because here you have, of course, your main base and a very well protected natural base and a very easy to get to third base. So I'm expecting to see Liquid Ret, I'm just going to call him Ret because he's red, go to 3 bases quite quickly. And ChaoxTech, he's known for his Hellion play, so I will be disappointed if I don't see some Hellions out of him. Definitely, man, so devastating what he can do with Hellions. It's pretty ridiculous, and against the Zerg, it's almost guaranteed. So yeah, here we are seeing Ret now going for hatchery first in his expansion. ChaoxTech pre-QQing, it looks like, saying that he's going to be losing 12 points in this matchup. Though you did see last week when he went up against Liquid Ret that he actually went for a proxy racks and a bunker rush to win against Liquid Ret, sort of a big all-in cheese move. And he was able to pull it off because he scouted correctly in the proper direction first. So it can happen. ChaoxTech can beat Ret. So I'm not going to rule it out for this game, and hopefully we'll see something exciting. Okay, so going for Reaper first, and well, again, we're seeing bunker right here in front of this hatchery, and I'm actually kind of surprised that Ret doesn't have an Overlord out here to spot. Zerg players learned very quickly that they had to leave an Overlord near their hatchery because hatcheries have such small vision. You can see, you can't see that these bunkers are going down. Just now scouts it and is going to bring these drones out, but ChaoxTech has a second SCV here, so there's no hope of picking off that first SCV, and now that second SCV producing a second barracks. Liquid Ret's only hope is to pick off any incoming units, so he's keeping on guard here for this incoming Reaper. He's going to have to try to catch it. It's going to be tough though, because Reapers can micro very well against drones, so he's got to be very careful. In the meantime, Zerglings, by the way, picking off these bunkers, so it's sort of a race against the clock. Can the Zerglings take down the bunkers in enough time? Ooh, almost able to pick off that Reaper. No, the Reaper just gets inside, but the bunker is going down. It is going to get salvaged, actually just in time. The Reaper hops into the second bunker, and now that second bunker is gone. So is the Reaper. So wow, great response from Liquid Ret. I thought he was going to be in trouble there for a little bit, but no, actually pulling off quite a bit. So a lot of players get freaked out when they see a bunker going down. They pull their drones and they try to use the drones to pick off the bunker, but that's the improper response. You need to use the drones to pick off the incoming units because they can actually catch those Reapers coming in or the Marines coming in or whatever you end up producing and take them down usually, or get them at low health in the meantime. So what's going down in ChaoxTech's base? Factory and a command center. Now I'm curious, he did lift off this barracks and left and started building the factory on his tech lab. kind of robbed of some tech lab time, but it doesn't look like he produced anything with it, so it's no big deal, I suppose. He could have just done a little switcheroo, but nevertheless, going for an internal pre-igniter and a Hellion, so we are going to see some Hellions. Hooray! Starport as well, so I'm guessing he'll go for a Hellion drop in Rhett's base. Rhett poking up to see what's going on with that Overlord. Command Center, not sure if he's going to get a glimpse of that before it gets cancelled. Marine moving in to try to ward off that Overlord. Actually a clever little distractionary tactic. This is the one he wants to bring in. So while that Marine is busy firing away at this Overlord, Rhett cleverly just leaving it within firing distance for a little bit longer while he can scout what's going on in ChaoxTech's base. That's very clever. So Zerg players take note. 2 Overlords. Use one to distract, and then bring in your Overlord that you don't actually want to use. So what's going on now? Layer going down for Rhett. Second base up and mining. Wow, check that out. 43 harvesters for Rhett, so he's already rolling. I'm anticipating that it won't be long before he starts getting that third up and running. Tech-wise, just that layer, so I'm not sure if we'll be seeing Muta or Hydra or what. I actually don't see Hydra against Terran that much, as I should. But ChaoxTech can easily go into tanks from here. He already has Hellions out, so Hydralisk would not be a wise choice. Oh, did I miss a drop? So I did. Wow, and bringing a lot of drones down to low health, but let's check the units lost tab, and not a whole lot lost, actually. I'm sure some of those were the drones and Zerglings from the initial bunker/Reaper rush. But Liquid Red actually coming out pretty lucky there. Is that drone not been scouted? It's in vision range. That's pretty funny. So now ChaoxTech starting to go for those tanks and Hellions. Going big mech, it looks like. And now it looks like Liquid Red's going to go for that hatchery. I keep calling him Liquid Red. I'm just going to be calling him Red. Flipping back over to income. Wow, Red doing quite the job here. 1,400 minerals a minute. 62 harvesters versus ChaoxTech's basically 1,000 minerals per minute. And half the number of harvesters. Even utilizing those mules, he's still quite a ways behind. He needs to saturate his natural quite a bit more. Oh, but it sounds like he's supply blocked. Wow, he is supply blocked, and look at that. Only 54 supply versus Rhett's up to 140 available, but he's only utilizing 88 at this point in time. Third hatch almost complete. What is he making? Mulisks and ChaoxTech luckily going for Thor. So I was actually kind of thinking we'd end up seeing the siege tank. Since he did do the siege research, it's curious that he's going for Thor. Did he scout the Spire? No, he did not scout that Spire, so I guess just the intuition. I guess sometimes you can tell if your opponent is going heavy on Zergling, that he might also be going Mutalisks. So maybe that's his guess. Well, now he knows for sure. Losing that medevac, that's never a good sign. Only a single Viking out, and Thor moving in to try to take down these Mutalisks. He's going to have to be careful. Mutalisk, in fact, able to take down that mule. These guys need to run. I mean, they're doing pretty well against the SCVs, but still, I don't think they came out ahead. There were 4 or 5 Mutalisks, and they only took out maybe 6, 8 SCVs there. More Mutalisks on the way. Mutaling, it looks like we're going to be seeing definitely for sure. And turn vehicle weapons going down as well, so ChaoxTech going to buff those Thors. Good idea against Mutalisks, but so long as Rhett doesn't allow his Mutalisks to get all clumped up so that the Thor does the splash damage, he should be fine. ChaoxTech is moving, scouting out with that barracks, and now lots and lots and lots of Mutalisks moving in the back here. Turning around, I guess. Trying to pick off these Hellions, it looks like. Might have caught a glimpse of that in just that developmental launch now, just a little bit. And ChaoxTech, no Thor around. These Hellions, ouch, 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 ouch. Run away, Hellions, run away. Only a single Thor as well. Mutalisks have to be careful. They could honestly one-up that Thor right now, but whoa, look at all those Lings. Liquid Ret definitely in a solid position, flipping back over to income. We see he's up by almost a factor of 2 here. Almost twice as many harvesters, almost twice as much income, almost twice as much gas. So Ret in really strong position. ChaoxTech definitely thinking about expanding again, or I guess attacking. He has a good composition against Muta Ling right now. A little bit light on the Thors, I guess. Perhaps I'm wrong. Rhett, gotta be careful about that. Clumping up those Mutilas. He knows, he's a pro gamer. And Rhett actually now going for a 4th as well. And also going for the old Hive. Might be teching up to Greater Spire. I could see that since he has such a strong air presence. Thor not so great against Broodlords. Really difficult to get past that wall of Broodlings that seems to form. But honestly, Rhett doesn't even need to wait to attack at this point. He's got a really overwhelming army at the, and going up against a single unsieged tanks. And even with that many Hellions, with the Mutalisks around, the Zerglings getting a decent surround on this Thor, it could be a very quick game over. And wow, here comes the huge Zerg. Well, it's not really a ball, but it's a huge Zerg attack force. ChaoxTech finally starting to move out for his 3rd, and here comes the attack. Oh, crispy Zerglings. Wow. And actually kind of surprised that ChaoxTech did as well as he did there. Only a few units left for Rhett, but it's going to be enough because there's nothing they can do against this air. Thor is going to be a while before they get out. Instead, ChaoxTech was producing siege tanks. Siege tanks not so good against air. And these Mutalisks are unopposed. ChaoxTech trying to get some turrets down, OMFG turrets, but it's not doing so well. Crowding those SCVs around just to get that turret up. Even if that one turret goes up, I mean, really, Red should just be attacking the turret. It's going to go down pretty quickly. This looks like it's going to be the end of the game, and again, wow, Zerglings can just attack straight up against Hellion. That's something I haven't seen before. In KS GGWPs, stick around because we're going to have another embarrassing replay coming up next. Everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Most Embarrassing Replays. This is Climate 5, of course, and you're watching a matchup between Dark One, the red Zerg in the bottom left-hand corner, and Melee Mark, the blue Protoss in the 3 o'clock position. This map is Abyssal Caverns. If you haven't seen it before, Season 3 is, well, you should have probably played it by now, but still, you have this fairly protected natural expansion, making it very easy to at least get a 2nd base, but then your options for a 3rd are actually pretty difficult. You have this sort of a far stretch over here, and on this particular matchup, it's pretty close to your opponents, just right in the middle here. Or you also have this gold expansion, which is, again, pretty difficult to defend. The pathway to try to get back here to defend this is not that easy to traverse. It's very far from your base, and plus there's a very wide 2nd ramp leading into the expansion. So not too easy to defend. Here we see Dark One scouting north first with his Overlord, so it's going to be a little while before he finds where Melee Mark is. In the meantime, Melee Mark going for what looks like Forge Vast Expand. I'm pretty excited to see that this build is making a good return in Wings of Liberty. Of course, it was a very popular build in the days of Brood War, but now that it's returning, I couldn't be happier because I love big macro games, and any game where you can get a second base up pretty quickly, we end up seeing that. And speaking of seeing that, Dark One going for his first hatchery very quickly, not even spawning pool first, so definitely going big macro for Dark One. And first cannon coming down from Melee Mark. Really is a good choke for that, I would say, because you can, cram another gateway and a cannon here. Just to sort of block things off. Dark One scouts this. He knows that Melee Mark's going to be going an early expand as well. Some hot drone versus probe action. Dark One actually backing off, which I don't think he should be doing. He should be taking this opportunity to move the drone into Melee Mark's main, where you can at least take glimpses at what's going on in terms of tech. But now he's going to lose that opportunity, and the more cannons that go down here, the less of a chance he's going to be able to scout what Melee Mark is actually going for. Just now that spawning pool coming down, just about finished. I guess that's pretty proper timing. No gas either, so we're not going to see any early speed or anything. Probably just wants to get those queens going. And yes, so that second hatchery now complete as well. Not electing to move any drones over yet. And here goes that gateway. Now this is actually not a complete seal, kind of actually put in a poor place. I was thinking he would put the gateway here and then block this off with another cannon or two. But wow, 4 cannons, that's kind of a lot. I suppose against Zerglings, they would have to make sort of a zigzagging maneuver to get through here and probably get destroyed by photon cannons before they make it. So I guess Melee Mark doing pretty well. Really too heavy on the cannons, honestly. He should have started his Nexus by now. And he's losing some pretty valuable mining time. In the meantime, 2 simulators out, neither one being mined. Okay, just now moving those probes to start mining from the assimilator. And both players actually playing quite defensively. No offensive units for Dark One yet. No offensive units for Melee Mark yet. So we're off to a pretty tame start here. Now Melee Mark going for that first Nexus. 5 cannons. That's, let's see, 3, 6, 750 minerals right there. He could have started his Nexus way earlier. Could already probably be mining from it by now. But instead, putting down way more cannons than he needs at this point in time. Cybernetics core finally going down, so we will start to see what Melee Mark is going to go for a tech route. I'm guessing that since his front is pretty well blocked off here, he's going to end up going for air. Pretty much seems his only choice other than destroying his own cannons. Which he seems pretty content to keep it as is for the time being. 2 more simulators going down, and, well, honestly, he can't really support that yet. Doesn't have enough probes out. Doesn't have that Nexus up and running yet. Taking a look at income, Dark One ahead slightly on harvester count. Definitely ahead on the income. We're looking at basically a little over 1,000 minerals per minute here versus Melee Mark 600. When he does get that second base up and running, he'll be able to catch up a little bit, but actually also not electing to Maynard any of his probes at all. So here come these Stargates, and it's going to be a good question whether he's going to go for Void Rays or Phoenix. And I see a lot of Protoss go for Phoenix against Zerg, but they do require quite a bit of micro. Definitely good for picking up those queens and, really damaging the Zerg econ. That spawn larva, absolutely crucial for Zerg players in Wings of Liberty. So we'll see if Melee Mark has the tactical ability to actually pull off some good graviton beams. And okay, so here come Phoenix. Yes, indeed. I also like the choice of going Void Ray against Zerg, just because, you know, with the charge up, they take down Queens pretty easily. I mean, Queens, granted, are strong against air units early on in the game, but if you have, you know, 3-4 Void Rays, which not that tough to do off of 2 Stargates, then you can pretty much neutralize anything that's going on here to protect this natural expansion. As long as Dark One isn't planting down any spore crawlers, and in fact I don't even see an evolution chamber. Oh, I take that back. There's the evolution chamber. So yeah, Dark One can begin producing spore crawlers. Of course, he has no idea what his opponent is going for. Has he even seen the front door yet? No, just that there are still a couple cannons there. Doing nice on his creep spread, I have to say. Really stretching across the map there towards his opponent. I wonder if he's going to be planning on taking down these rocks here as well. Phoenix now starting to move out. There are 4 of them, so that's going to do a pretty good job in bases where there is a single queen. I did notice that there were a couple queens out here in the main. Might not be as effective there because that graviton beam only lasts so long. Now Dark One going for a lair as well as a roach warren and another hatchery. That's pretty curious. I don't often see players go for another hatchery inside their base. They most often elect to do the expansion with another queen there for supplemental larva. That's going to get scouted in just a second here by Melee Mark, moving in those Phoenix across the map, and Dark One actually cancels that. Little does he know that Melee Mark has no ground army and can't possibly destroy that hatchery. In the meantime, we do see Void Rays coming out. So, it looks like Melee Mark going to switch things up, going to go the Void Ray route. I endorse that. Dark One looking a little bit behind on the Spore Crawlers. They are going to get down, but might lose a queen. There's still another queen that's not landed. Ooh, actually, Melee Mark losing some Phoenix. Yikes, trying to harass those Overlords. Definitely not worth it, because take a look at the supply. Dark One can support up to 102 army units, supply I should say. That's a lot of Overlords. I just look at what Dark One has in the bank right now. 2,500 minerals. He's definitely doing fine against these Phoenix. I'm kind of worried about these Void Rays though, because once those Void Rays get charged up, they can take down even Spore Crawlers fairly easily. Especially if they, you know, if you attack from the proper trajectory, so you're only getting attacked by 1 Spore Crawler at a time, 4 Void Rays are going to do just fine. It looks like you might even have more than 4 Void Rays. Looks like you might have 6 Void Rays, and that's going to be even worse for Dark One. I don't see a Hydralisk Den coming down yet. In fact, we see a Baneling nest being built. Banelings, unfortunately, do not fly and will not prove to be very effective against those Void Rays. Again, however, unfortunately, Dark One is not able to scout past this cannon wall. He isn't even willing to sacrifice an Overlord, and you know, he has so many Overlords. I would think that this would be an appropriate opportunity to sacrifice one of them. Wow, that's lots of Banelings, and it seems pretty clear that he's going to be going for a front door bust. That's a lot of cannons though, and he doesn't really have that large of a ground army to follow it up. Just a handful of roaches, and, well, again, roaches against Void Rays, not so good, actually. Ninja expand in the northern position of this map, top right, for Melee Mark. Let's see how long it takes for Dark One to scout that. Not very well saturated at his natural either, I have to say. Melee Mark could be doing quite a bit better. Could probably be producing more Void Rays. And you see that many of his starports are inactive. And he's curiously electing to put down another Nexus even though his main bases aren't even saturated at all. So, not the best resource usage, I would have to say. And here come all the Banelings. Wow, totally crashing into everything and doing much, much better than I expected, actually. Taking out all those probes as well, wow. Extremely effective, and crashing into those photon cannons as quickly as they can before they get destroyed by these Void Rays. And hello, here's the Hydralisk Den. Finally, I am glad that I'm seeing that, because Dark One definitely needs something to go up against these Hydralisks. His few Queens are not going to do it. He's bringing him in to help, but these Hydralisks need to finish quickly because the Void Rays are coming in. Here come the Hydralisks just in the nick of time. Void Rays moving in. Gonna try to take down the Spore Crawler, but the Hydralisk moving in. Gonna take down the Void Rays instead. Chase those Void Rays off. And now Melee Mark, who has been turtling fastidiously throughout this entire game, is in trouble. He has nothing to counter these Hydralisks. He really needs Colossus, but doesn't even have a robotics facility out. He's trying to rebuild his front gate desperately, and Dark One doing a really good job with that creep spread, getting it up all up in Melee Mark's face so that he can't complete his wall, and everything is going down. Void Rays attacking their arch nemesis, Hydralisks, and Void Rays will lose. Single Void Ray left, and that Phoenix, which is now gone. Switching over to the army tab, we see Melee Mark has nothing. No units, zip zero, nada. All he has is his probe, which will also die very easily. This the Dark Ones. Trying to throw down a few more cannons, but it's just too late. This is going nowhere fast for Melee Mark. He's going to have to GG this one. So, while this game is wrapping up, let me just remind you that if you have any embarrassing replays to send me, please send those along to replays@poweroverwhelming.net. Replays@poweroverwhelming.net. And if you're catching this on YouTube, be sure to catch the show live on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Central. We usually do a couple embarrassing replays and follow it up with some community games of some sort, whether it be Nexus Wars, or sometimes we do Icy Jug maps. Sometimes, well, we're even talking about doing some sodas as well. So definitely do join us live if you have the opportunity. That's 9 o'clock Central on poweroverwhelming.net. Tuesday nights. Would love to see you, love to have you be part of our community. We're a community of casual StarCraft players, so even if you're not that great, that's perfect for us because we're not that great either, so definitely come check us out. Yeah, so more of the same from Melee Mark, just trying to rebuild, and honestly, not going to get too far. Might be able to hold off these Zerglings with the number of cannons he has, but you know, it's only a matter of time before this huge army. Dark One lulls to end the game, and Melee Mark doesn't even GG, and he leaves. So that's it. Thanks to Dark One for sending me this replay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Stay tuned for the community event.